Hi everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. It's the weekend and I thought I would just do another little project here. Keeping to my 10-pound limit for lifting, I thought I would do something that I have picked up for my own personal collection. And it is, I don't know if we can zoom in here. Take a look. It is a Yamaha model KX670. And it's a cassette deck that actually is a pretty good quality one. I've always liked the Yamaha cassette products, especially from the 70s and 80s. And this one came up at a good price. I don't think it works. I've not tried it yet. I just put it on the bench and plugged it in. I haven't turned it on yet. We're going to do that together. Hopefully it kind of works and won't be a major repair or something that needs a part that we can't get. But we'll see that when we go to hook it up. So let's get this turned on, and I'll get the camera aimed over there, and let's see what we come up with. Okay, I have it propped up where we can see it together. Let's turn it on. And I heard something clunk in there. That's good. And the display works. That's great. So let's open the cassette door, and that kind of looks, well, there's our first problem. We have a loose cassette drawer, but that's okay as long as it can put the cassette in. Okay, it loaded the cassette. If we push play, and it just goes for a second and then stops. Let's see if we have fast forward. Fast forward's working perfectly. And rewind is working perfectly. So the unit will fast forward and rewind, but it will not play. Let's see if intro scan works. Intro scan just looks for the next song, looks for the space. There, it worked. And you can see it found the next song. So that tells me that the tape head is picking up the audio from the cassette, and the logic in there is able to sense it. So that's all good. So there must be something in the playback mechanism. I don't know necessarily if it will be a belt. It might be, because this is a 3-head system or 3-motor system. So one of the belts might be bad. Hopefully that's all it is. So let's get it apart and we'll look inside, and we'll also see why this door is so, there's probably a cracked piece in there or something. Hopefully we can repair. So let's get it apart. Okay, now taking this apart, you can see why I like these. I mean, unlike that Pioneer that I did from the 70s, and it was a mechanical nightmare and an electronic nightmare, you can see how streamlined everything is. Everything's on integrated circuits. They use high quality capacitors. The components are very good quality, probably not going to need anything in here. And the tape transport mechanism is very straightforward. So that's why I really like these. And I've had Yamahas back in the day, and they've always been really good performers. So I'll get this apart, and you can see the motors in here. We'll see, most likely there's probably going to be a belt or an idler tire or something that's going to be slipping and causing the unit to shut off because it's not playing properly. Although when I do hit the play, it seems to be turning the tape properly, but who knows. So let's take a look and see. Okay, I have you off to the side view here so that I can get in here and work. And we're gonna, I have a feeling, and I do have a complete service manual for this, but I haven't printed it out or anything. But I have a feeling this is going to be a belt. Again, like I said earlier, this is a 3-motor system, and I believe there is a loading motor in here. I forget what they call it, the assist motor or some kind of thing like that. But if that doesn't engage the head the whole way, then I think what will happen is that it'll do just that. It'll play a little bit and then it'll stop. And the fact that the intro scan works. If I'm not mistaken, on most cassette decks, I don't know about this one, but if you have an intro scan, you know, beginning of the song scan that like this one has, usually it'll retract the head ever so slightly to pull the pinch rollers away so that it can fast forward. And that kind of makes sense, because if it works, it tells me that it's not properly engaging the head the whole way. There's probably also a switch in there, I would guess, that will control, or that senses when the head is properly engaged. And if that switch isn't being made properly, or the switch is bad, once again, it would do that. But it's all speculation right now until we get it apart. Again, I'm not a person who services cassette decks all the time. Usually I avoid them because they're not my favorite thing to work on. Just the history of all the mess of taking them apart and everything. So I'm going to take a couple pictures of this, although it's going to be pretty obvious where all this goes with all this, by taking some pictures and remembering what's going on here. All right, so we'll take this out. I'll take this one out. Some of these are a little bit tougher to get out than others. So let's see if I can find an appropriate screwdriver, which was right there in front of my face. And see if I can get this off. These things click in there pretty hard. You have to be careful you don't damage them. And then here's your light bulbs. I believe those are going to be hard. No, they're plugged in too. That's good. And then this whole thing should just come out. And we got one more here. And that one goes to here. I'll take another picture of that. Okay. It's usually pretty obvious where they go, but when you take pictures, you can be assured you'll know where they go. All right, so we got this out. And now you have a little better access to the mechanism here, and I can't tell why this is floating around like this. I may have to go to the service manual. It looks like there was a pin down here somewhere, or another piece that was missing, but yes, there's a pin broken off that was in here. I think we can mend that. All right, so put this back together, and let's get the transport out. In order to do that, I'm going to unplug these. So we'll just disconnect the transport connectors. And they're nice and color-coded. Makes it a lot easier. And sometimes I like to just pry them rather than pull on the wires and things. So that gets that out. Take our couple of screws out here. And I do have a new set of belts for this. I preemptively ordered them because pretty much anything this old, even if they work, you probably want to start out with a fresh set of belts. These ones aren't so bad as like the Pioneer that we did, that you have to take the whole world apart to get to it. But nevertheless. Okay, what am I stuck on here? I think I have another piece that's not, I think it might be screwed in from the bottom. Do I have some screws from the bottom? I do not. I don't think this is, I don't see any other screws holding this. Nope. Oh, it's screwed in from up here. Never mind. Okay, so we'll take those out. Am I still in shot? Yes. As I said, you know, I'm not an expert on this model, so I'm figuring this out as I go along. Take that out. These little clips just come out, and you can remove them like this. And then this should come right out. And we have a couple more plugs here. One here and one here. Tape heads here. So these are your coaxes. You want to be careful with those. Okay. So that's out. Let me move this out of the way so we can work. Okay, I figured out the cassette door. I don't know if I can show you this, but if you look right, let's look from the bottom and see if I can do this without breaking things. If you see right here, see this part right here? That's a little screw, believe it or not. It's a tiny little thing. It's like a pin. It seems to be threaded in there or something. I'm not sure. Or it's a little plastic pin. Notice there's two of them, one here and one here. And if you flip this over, on this one, you can see the one pin. I don't know if you can see it or not, right here. But this other one, you can see it just is just sitting in there. It came out. It just broke off. And that's what's causing that door to float. See there? So all I need to do is drill a hole through there, and I'm going to put a little metal pin through there to shore this up. And then it should be good. So that's fixable. That's really good news, and that makes me really happy. Now looking down in here, there's two belts. You have your main flywheel belt, which is this flat belt here, and it feels dry, but yeah, it's loose. It's worn. And then there's a second one that'll be up in here somewhere, and that's your loading belt right there. See it? And if this one slips, there's quite a bit of force on it. It won't pull the heads up properly. So I'll need to get that replaced. So I'm going to replace those two belts and fix that pin, do a general cleaning of the mechanism in here, clean the heads. They have a lot of dust. I don't know if you can see the dust on there, but there's quite a bit. I don't know if you can see how much dust is in there, but it's very dusty. The good news is the heads don't look to have a whole lot of wear on them. The pinch rollers look like there's a little bit of mileage on them, but those will clean right up. It's obviously been used, but not terribly, not abused. So let's get this thing apart. You know, earlier this week, my youngest daughter and my wife and I got to see Jeff Lynne's ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, in concert. It's their farewell tour. And I have to admit, it was probably one of the better, if not one of the best concerts I've seen. Jeff Lynne is 76 years old this year. And he sounded just like he always did. I mean, his voice was strong. I just couldn't believe how good he sounded. And, yeah, this belt's shot. And this one, no better. So those need to be replaced. I'm going to clean this all up. But anyway, Electric Light Orchestra, I really love their music. And it's one of my daughter's favorite bands of all time. She's a music major, but she just loves their music and the works of Jeff Lynne. And, you know, it's funny that their closing song they did of the concert was Mr. Blue Sky. And to me, that song's always been so much different than all the other material they've produced and the music that they made. And everybody compares it to, you know, a Beatles song and some different things like that, which there is a lot of that to it. But how, you know, and if you read the story of how he was inspired to write the words to that song and everything, it's really what I love about that song is that when you listen to it, I think everybody that listens to it puts their own meaning to it. And it's always a positive meaning or a hopeful meaning. Songs like that are classics. They will live on forever. And what a wonderful song that is to listen to. But anyway, I really enjoyed the concert. Always good to go to a concert. And so anyway, as I ramble on, let's clean this up. I'm just getting, again, these belts did not deteriorate. Certain belts will deteriorate and they'll turn into this black goo. And it's very hard to clean. But as you can see, these left almost no residue whatsoever, which is great. There's a tiny little bit on this pulley for this motor, but not much. And the only thing we just have to hope for is that it's not one of these motors. Because the motors can get weak also. But looking at the condition of these belts, I'm pretty confident that that's not the problem, not the case. So here's where I got these belts. I don't know if you could see it there. This is the set that I got. They look to be good quality belts. From what I read, this company does good work. They have good products. And just looking at this belt is definitely stretched pretty bad. And this one here, you can see these are a lot more pliable, much better. So let me work on getting this back on. Okay, I'll put this on like this, and it'll just kind of hold itself on there if we're careful. And we're going to have to use a hook to get that up on there. And the same thing goes with this. Well, let's try putting the new belt on. There we go. I'm going to put these on and then I'll just use a hook to get that up on there. Should be fairly simple. Famous last words. Yeah, different people listen to music in different ways. Some people really listen to the melody and to the actual music itself. Other people listen to the lyrics a lot. Some people are a combination of both. That's kind of me, because I love instrumental things like classical and so forth. But I also really enjoy hearing what people have to say, what they think, and that's what music is. People are putting into lyrics, into music, their thoughts about things. And it's funny that someone can share their thoughts through music, and yet you'll listen to them and you'll get something totally different from it. That's the magic of music, if you ask me. I don't care what genre it is. It could be classical or rock and roll or country western or, folk music, bluegrass, all that stuff. And so I like it all. And that's why one of the reasons I do this is just because of how much I enjoy listening to the finished product, listening to the music. Okay, let's see what I can do here, if I can get this belt to behave. There we go. That one went right on. If we give it a little spin, it should... There it is. Hope you saw that. So I just took a little hook like this. I just grabbed it here and I rolled it around the top and then up over the pulley. Now let's see what we can do with this side. This one might be a little trickier. Save the best for last, huh? So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my tweezers. I'll try to get this up on here. Like so. Well, actually, maybe I can get it down on the bottom one first. See if I can grab that from here. Get it down over the bottom. And I'm sure some of you that do this all the time probably have a better method for it. And then I'll grab the hook, put it up over top. Oh yeah, that's a lot tighter than that one that came off. And it's as simple as that. So there we go. Now all we have to do is figure a way to fix this broken piece. And I think the way I'm going to do it is to drill it out and put a pin through it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to, I don't know, maybe I can, yeah, I guess I can pop that off from that end. But this side has a lot of stuff going on it. Well, maybe I can get that off. Let's see. Let's take that. And let's remove this little damper, the little strut. Take that off. And then maybe, just maybe, we can get this out of here. Look at that. How about that? Now you can see a little more clearly where it's broken off. See right there? I don't know if this thing's focusing for you. Right there. And this is the little piece that came off of it. So I'm going to see if I can pin that. We'll clean it off. I have new grease for this, so I can re-grease it. And we'll just try to get some of this off of here. And I'll try to use some alcohol. Maybe that'll break this oil down a little bit. Thin it out so that I can clean it. Like I said, alcohol doesn't always work on every kind of oil. Sometimes you have to use something else, but with this plastic being what it is, I'm not going to use anything but alcohol and elbow grease, as they say. We'll clean this off. All right. Feel free to skip ahead as I drop everything if you don't want to see all this, or to put it on fast forward. I got to say this to all the crabs out there that come out and it's like, you took 14 hours to do something I could have showed in 5 minutes. Well, make your own damn video. No offense, but you go make your 5-minute video, and the people that want to see that can watch it. That's great. It'll contribute to the hobby. Instead of complaining, what do they say? Isn't it better to light a candle than to curse the darkness? Is that the saying that they said? You know? And, but no, there's people they'd rather just complain. That's how the world works, though, I guess. Some people complain about things, and some people light the candle. I guess, huh? I hope I light candles, but I complain a lot, too. I just complained by complaining about the complainers, didn't I? That would make me a hypocrite. Well, guess I'm not perfect. Sorry to surprise all of you. All right. How's that look? I think that looks good. So now I'm going to see if I can get a drill in there and drill that. I'm going to use a hand drill, one of these guys, that I can hopefully reach in there. I think I have one that's shorter than that. See if I can find one of the small ones. Here's one that's really small. I think that'll fit in there. See that? Now I can get right in there. I'm just going to drill straight through. This is called a pin vise, by the way. You can buy them online. There's lots and lots of different ones. I have about 5 or 6 different versions of pin vices. And They're much slower than a powered drill because they're all finger powered, but you have a lot of control over the drilling, and they fit in small places. So you can see that went right through there. That's exactly the right size. And then what I'm going to do is, if I got enough of the grease off of this, I should be able to put a little bit of glue and tack that on there, and hopefully it will work. Okay, so I have some Star Bond CA glue, and I have a little piece of 220 sandpaper, and I have this piece of wire, this copper bus wire, and I'm going to run this sandpaper to give a little bit of a roughness to it for the glue to adhere to, and to take all of any of the crud or anything that might be on it. This will just kind of help it to stick a little better, because the idea is this is going to go through there like a pin. It's going to pin it all together and hold the glue together. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to prop this up and hopefully I won't drop it. I'm going to take a little bit of this Star Bond and take it and just put it right around the periphery of this, like so. Hopefully I won't glue my fingers. There. Just like that. And I'm going to put this through. Get this started in here. Like that. And I'll take this, slide it over. Whoop, as it goes flying. Let's see here. Okay, let me get this centered right like that. Then I'm going to put a little bit more of the Star Bond down the center here. Like that. And then I'm just going to let that cure. And when it does, it ain't coming out. I can tell you that. And that should take care of it. And then we'll reapply some grease to it. And this should be repaired. And while I have this off, I'm going to let this cure a little bit. And let's clean this up. What do you think? So I'm going to get some better cleaning swabs. And again, I'm just going to use, this is my clean anhydrous isopropyl. It doesn't have any flux or anything down in the bottom here. I use it for stuff like this. We're just going to buff the head off a little bit here and see how it looks. Clean all of this up. Any place where the tape is going to come in contact with something, we want to clean that off. And we'll take another one and go another round with it. Okay, and then last but not least, we'll take a little bit of our Windex or window cleaner, this stuff, the blue stuff. I'll put a little shot of that on here, and then I will clean off the pinch rollers. And if I don't get a whole lot of black dirty stuff on there, then I'm not going to worry about it too much. and it's not, so it's not too dirty. Good. And then we'll go around the pinch rollers. I'm sorry, the capstans. This one had a little bit on it, stuff on it. Clean that off. Fling cleaner all over the place. Okay. And a little bit more with the alcohol on the erase head. Yeah, and this has an active erase head, which is really cool to have also. It's a good quality tape deck. At least by my standards it is. Maybe some of you all it's not, but to me, I like it. I'll just clean the dusty parts off. Let's see. All right. That all looks good. Wait for that to all evaporate and everything should be good. Okay, we are back. Let's get some flush cuts. I'll do this end, and I'll do this end, and I don't think anything's going to go anywhere after this. Nice. Now the only thing is, does this have a, no, there's no washers. So we need to put a little bit of grease on there after making sure that's totally cured. Okay, grease located. So we'll put a little bit of lithium grease down here on both sides. And I'll put a little more on this side without trying to make too much of a mess. I'll even put some on here and clean off the excess, huh? Okay. Take a little piece of paper towel and clean the excess off of here. There we go. Should be ready to go. Let's see if we have success. So we're going to put this through here and get these two positioned in place, and then very gently pull these out and pop them in. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Okay. Now, let's put the little opening spring back in, like that. And we have to install this like so, and put the screw back in the strut. Can I still, yep, we're still recording. Move this out so you can see. There we go. Okay, let's see what happens here. Wow, it's a lot tighter, a lot better. Perfect. Okay, everything looks pretty good in here. I don't really think there's much else that I need to do in here. It all looks pretty good. So let's put it together and see if we have any luck. Okay, I now have you at an odd angle so that I can see what I'm doing. We'll get this all put together in here and we'll see what happens. Get these screws back in. I should get a magnetic screwdriver out, but I'm just being too lazy. this top on. Okay, I'll put these little pins back in here. They use these a lot on X-ray machines, like to hold circuit boards in and things, where where you put the little centerpiece in and or the little clip in, and you push this through and it flares out the little fingers. And I don't know if you've ever seen this, but there's a tool that they make to remove those, and I have one. I keep it here on the bench, but I take it to work sometimes if I'm going to be, I'm going to be replacing one of those boards. They look like this. Strange looking things, but what they do is they let you kind of clamp underneath there and then pull the pin out, and it just kind of wedges in there, and you can see that little notch is where that pin fits through, and helps you just pull those out. You can buy those. I think I got mine on eBay or on Amazon. It's not any, you don't have to go any special place to buy them, but they really help. Some of them, you can, like these little ones, you can take out with your fingernail if you have a fingernail. But some of them are very difficult if you don't have that little tool. So that kind of helps. There we go. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit confident about this and put everything together mostly to try it out. And of course, then I'll have to take it back apart and I'll say, why did I do that? Because I could just let it sit out and plug it in, but, well, we'll see what happens, huh? Okay. There we go. Now let's move this back so I can get this plugged back in. I don't think this tape deck has really super high hours on it. I mean, it's been used, but not extensively. So I think once we get the little belts replaced, this is probably going to last a very long time. I think it's got a lot of life left in it. I have that in the wrong place. It needs to go over here, like so. According to my little picture that I didn't look at. This one goes up here. And this one goes to the lights on the power supply. And then this one goes right here. Well, that's always good when everything kind of fits where it belongs and there's nothing left over. Okay. But when I was a lot younger, the two things I hated working on was cassette decks and tuner dial strings. Torture. But sometimes you have to do that, but usually it involves the invention of a new swear word. You know, before that job, that word didn't exist. After the job, it does. As I bang my head on the camera and give you dizziness. It does add a whole new dynamic to things when you have a camera around you all the time when you're working. But I like having you along for the ride. You keep me good company. Huh. Everybody's typing little comments about that all of a sudden. Yeah. Okay. So, put this back together. Make sure I got this all right. I'm even going to put the knobs on. A sure way for it not to work is for you to put it all back together. So I shouldn't be doing this. Is that a little bit of foreshadowing for you there, or what? Let's see what happens. Tell you what, though, that door goes in so much better now. Okay, here we go. Turn it on. Put the cassette in. It's playing. Of course, it's making squeaky noises. What's that all about? You hear that? Why am I squeaking? It's playing just fine other than that horrid squeaking noise. Well, now I think I found the problem. If you look inside here, the pressure pad, the little felt pressure pad is missing from the cassette. That might do it. Let's try a different cassette. Let's see here. Luckily, fortunately, I keep my feathers numbered for just such an emergency. Ah, the sweet sound of silence. And I didn't even have to tear it apart. Well, let's see if it plays. Bueller. Bueller. What is taking so long? Should be playing. Can't be that much lead in. Okay, I guess there is. Yeah, it's playing. And the presser pad has come off of this one as well. That's what you get for using dime store cassettes. But I would rather see those get eaten by a bad tape deck than one of my good tapes. It is working though, so if I put a good tape in there, I think we're going to be okay. So let's get something a little better and see what we got. Okay, I've got the old wow and flutter meter tape on, and it's an older one, but it's 2018, but it's a good one. What an annoying sound. And let's take a look at what we got up here on the wow and flutter meter. If I can move this out of the way. And there we go. I'm on the 0.1%, so that's 0.003%, that's 0.004%. There's the drift. The green light means we're right on 3.15 kilohertz. This is the DIN test I have on here. I also have the 3 kilohertz test. And you can see it's very low wow and flutter and perfectly on frequency. If I stop the tape, you can see not even, there's no drift. Just the tiniest little bit. I don't even know if that's worth trying to adjust. No, it's perfect. And the thing is, after these belts wear in a little bit, it'll probably get even better. So, nothing wrong with this tape deck. I think this one's ready to wrap up. And of course, I realized after I did that last clip that I had my microphone on upside down. Hope you heard what I said. The wow and flutter was floating between 0.03 and 0.04%. And the drift was negligible. And like I said, after these belts break in a little bit, it'll actually get better yet. So this thing's a wrap. I'm going to put it together. And there are a little bit of scuffs on the faceplate. Nothing serious. Nothing that would bother me. So this will go up and actually go up on my with my Rotel stereo. And eventually I will get my spec system all put together, but that's going to take some time to get that all done and ready to go. But anyway, there it is. Okay, the covers are all on, and I dug out another very dusty, dirty, old tape. I recorded this actually on another Yamaha cassette deck I had in the mid-1980s, so this is an old tape. It's a chrome, and I believe I recorded it with Dolby C. So it's Rush moving pictures on one side, and it's Grace Under Pressure on the other side. So I can't play very much, but we can at least listen to a couple seconds of it. See how it sounds. Let's see here. Let's turn it up. Yeah, this thing really sounds good. As you saw on the wow and flutter meter, it's dead on. And you could just hear how good that tape still sounds after 30 some years. It's amazing how long these last. You know, to that, okay, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but we actually have some x-ray machines out in the field that were built in the mid to late 1980s, and they use a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk, which uses magnetic media similar to these cassette tapes. And do you know, I still have a complete set of discs, service discs for those, and they still work after all those years. They work perfectly. So don't discredit magnetic media, and it really, if you take good care of it and you keep the tape heads demagnetized and everything, you'll be shocked how long these things can last. So there you go. All right, so that's it for this video. That was kind of a short, easy repair. And I guess the moral of the story is, if your cassette tapes that you have are missing the little presser pads in the middle, they will make squeaking noises and cause all kinds of strange sounds. So yeah, old tapes can do that. Now, those are factory made tapes. If you buy these really high quality cassettes, they're actually really, really good, and they hold up for a very long time. But anyhow, that's it for this video. So, as always, I wish you all peace, joy, happiness, and good health in your lives. Hope we had a little bit of fun here. And yeah, I poked fun at some of you maybe. And you know it's always in good character. I don't mean anything bad to any of you. And I wish you all the best. In this world that everybody likes to pick sides, you feel like there's this group and that group, and you got to join one, Pick the lesser of two evils, and you're still picking evil, as who was it that said that? Jerry Garcia, for one, I think. Although, I'm not from that era, but anyway, yeah, I wish you all the best. So stay well, everybody, and we'll be back real soon. I have some other projects that I want to do like this. Maybe we'll do a tuner next. I do have, by the way, I promised you that I was going to do some car stereos, and they're here, but I had to order some belts. So I'm only probably going to do one of these, the brand new one up there. It needs belts. So we're going to replace those, and that should be another pretty short video. And I have maybe I will do a little vacuum tube tuner video. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, take care, everybody. We'll see you again real soon. Stay well. Bye-bye.